All right, Bears fans, we got a lot of updates and some news from the owners' meetings earlier today. We actually heard from the owner. George McCaskey talked to the media down in Palm Beach, Florida, and he talked about the McCaskeys owning the team moving forward because obviously Virginia passed away. So we'll dive into that. Some more on the Bears Stadium, where things sit there. We heard a little bit from Kevin Warren yesterday, more from him and George today. And the Bears gave their stance on the Tush Push, which we'll dive into as well. Obviously, a polarizing topic when it comes to the NFL this week and really for the last year or so. And I'm just curious, just gauging where my audience is, most Bears fans are. Which side of the corner are you on? Should the Tush Push be banned? Type Y for yes, it should. Type N for no, it should not. We'll get into a little discussion on that as well. Lots to come here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome in. The McCaskies are not going to be selling the team, at least not in the near future, which, I know some Bears fans were holding out hope that at some point they would sell. I've never really bought into that idea. If you own an NFL team, it's kind of like the easiest way to print money if you at least semi know what you're doing. And even if you don't, which at times it's felt like the Bears have not, on TV deals alone, you get about $400-500 million per year from the league. So it's a very lucrative business. Here's what George had to say about his family and the ownership of the team. He said, "For many years we've said that we intend to own the Bears for as long as possible. Another 100 years would be great. Virginia set it up for us to accomplish that. She gave us the playbook. She coached us up. Now we got to execute the plan. We're prepared to do that. We got to stick together." That last line there gave me a little pause because there's been rumors forever that because there's so many McCaskey family members, can't remember how many kids Virginia had, but it was a bunch, that some of the family would like out. They'd like to sell, get their portion, and move on with their life. And I certainly get that. If I was like the married into the family, not really involved in the business, yeah, I'd love my 1%. Like, I get all that, but I at least think for the foreseeable future, they are going to be the primary owners. Could that change? Like, to me, if I'm them, I'm seeing the stadium project through, because that's a legacy thing you can carry, especially if it ends up being state of the art. I at least am sticking around for that stadium to host a Super Bowl in the greater Chicago area, whether it's in Arlington Heights or Chicago. Reap the financial benefits of owning your own stadium. Like, I don't know, let's say the new stadium, week 1, 2029 is here. Maybe they own the team till 2040, because typically when you get a new stadium, you'll get a Super Bowl within 5 or 6 years, mid-2030s. Benefit from the financial beneficiaries of owning your own stadium for 10 or 15 years, then maybe they would sell. But I don't think in the near term the McCaskies are going anywhere. So don't hold your breath if you're hoping that was going to be the case. If they sold now, they'd be stupid to, because the value is going to go up tremendously with this new stadium, and you're going to have to pay off some of those bills of helping fund a new stadium. So until you do that and then reap some of the awards of making even more money with that new stadium, of hosting all these different events, I don't think they're going anywhere. Let's talk stadium. We talked a little bit yesterday as Kevin Warren was on with Florio and Sims, and basically said that it's down to two sites, or two areas, I should say. Arlington Heights, the 300-plus acre location of property they have up there. New mayor in place today, by the way. And then downtown. Now, there could be, couple different areas on the lakefront that they could try to squeeze a stadium into, but there's no more of this, Naperville's calling, they're interested. Like, that's all done. It's either Arlington Heights or downtown Chicago, and I do think the momentum has significantly shifted toward Arlington Heights and that Arlington Park area, as if you just listen to Kevin Warren the last couple of days and the way he's talking about how they've made a lot of progress on the tax breaks in Arlington, and how it's a beautiful property and all these things. He said some of that in the past, but remember 12 months ago, right around 12 months ago, it was the day before the draft, so we're right up on a year, that they did that whole thing in Chicago with the mayor and city officials, and Here's the renderings of the project in downtown. Sole focus in downtown Chicago. You're not hearing that language anymore. You're not hearing that our primary focus is on downtown Chicago. You're now saying, oh, yeah, it's either Arlington Heights or downtown. Like, that's a pretty big shift. And look, I think they've tried. I think Kevin Warren really, I think part of this was a leverage play for Arlington Heights with the tax stuff, but I think in a perfect world, they would have found a way to do a new stadium in the downtown Chicago area. I'm always in favor of the Chicago Bears being in Chicago, the San Francisco 49ers being it. Like, you'd rather be in the city, but these bigger cities, there's politics involved. It's very difficult. You're asking for taxpayer money. The governor's getting involved at half the time in these situations. So I think it's going to end up being Arlington Heights. I think it makes the most financial sense for the Bears, and it's just the quicker path to getting this done. Because if they're going to really try to make this work in Chicago, it's going to be a political back and forth game for years to come, and I don't think the Bears want to play that anymore. We'll talk a little bit more about the stadium and then get to the tush push stuff here in just a little bit. But spring is here, baseball is upon us, and Prize Picks is the place to go to play daily fantasy sports, regardless of sport. Obviously, you can get in on baseball action every single day. Still got plenty of hoops going on as well. You've got long-term football lineup stats that you can launch out there, which is absolutely awesome. The way you play is simple. You pick 2 or more players on 2 or more different teams and pick more or less on the stat projections provided by Prize Picks. We got an awesome deal for you guys at prizepicks.com/CLNS. When you use the code CLNS, if you're a first-time customer, you are going to get an additional $50 for free into your account once you just play for $5. Like, set this $5 line. I've got a little football action here. Season-long stat projections. Caleb Williams. The more or less number PrizePicks has right now is less than the yards he threw last year, and last year's offense was a joke. So I'm hammering the more on that. James Cook became one of the best running backs in the league. I think he's hitting 1,000 yards or more. So took 2 mores there, $10 to win 30 on that lineup, but you can win up to $1,000 or 1,000 times your money on certain lineups today. $10 could turn into 10,000. Check it out. Get the extra $50 when you play for just $5 when you use code CLNS when you sign up at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Link and promo code are in the comments and description of this video. Okay, a little bit more here on the stadium stuff. Courtney Cronin had the notes here that George McCaskey said the Bears will continue to look at all options for employing private equity, as other NFL teams have done, like the Bills, Dolphins, and selling minority ownership stakes to private equity firms. New York Giants exploration of doing the same. As it stands, McCaskey said that private equity, quote, may be utilized as part of our stadium construction financing plan, but we haven't made a decision yet. But I just, you listen to them talk the last couple of days, it does feel like there's some momentum here. And you wonder if George has stepped in, and I know he's very nostalgic with Chicago as well, but I think he wanted to hand this project to Kevin Warren. He's done this before in Minnesota. It was a big part of getting U.S. Bank Stadium off the ground, which is one of the best stadiums in the NFL. But, you're going on like 2 years of this, and I wonder if George is like, look, like, if Chicago's not going to work out, let's just go to Arlington Heights, because that's one thing they said in the renderings 12 months ago. Every year that goes by, it costs them an extra $100 to $150 million to build one of these things because prices just go up. So Kevin Warren has said from the beginning, 2025, a shovel will be in the ground on the new stadium project. And, well, it's April 2025. So you've got 9 months to stick to that word. So if they're going to stick to that word and just based on the way they're talking, more and more Arlington Heights, I would guess that sometime this year we're going to hear breaking news, the Bears are going to Arlington Heights. That's going to be my guess. But for now, we don't have a resolution. Feels like we're closer, but how close, that remains to be seen. Where do you guys think the Bears' new stadium will be? If you're like me and think it'll be Arlington Heights, type A. If you think it'll be in Chicago, type C. I would be pretty shocked if it was not in Arlington Heights at this point in time. Okay, let's talk a little tush push. This has been a polarizing topic for a lot of different reasons. For a play that the Eagles have mastered, other teams have had a lot of success as well. Other teams haven't. other teams don't really use it. Like the Bears last year, I don't think ran it a single time. George did confirm today that they would have voted in favor of a ban. There was a report that 16 teams were on board to ban the play. Obviously, you need 24 or more teams to vote to make a change on a rule or a play or whatever the case may be. So they shelved the conversation for now, but half the league is there, and the Bears are in that discussion. Here's what McCaskey had to say, quote, "I know they say we don't have sufficient injury data on it, but to us, it appears to be an inherently unsafe play." Now, when he says us, is that the coaching staff influencing him? Is that a Ben Johnson stance of we just don't like the play? Obviously, they didn't really run it with Goff because he's not a physically imposing quarterback. He's not benching 600 or squatting 600 pounds like Jalen Hurts. Now, the data from last year, and I think there were over 300 tush push plays, 0 injuries occurred. Now, I'm not going to be one of these meatheads that is just like, see, it's completely safe. There are no injuries. Okay, like I'm with you to an extent. Like no injuries. Why change something if the data so far, at least from last year, says it's a safe play? Let's use a little logic though. If 20 dudes are diving at each other, and most of these guys are 250 to 350 pounds, at some point, there's probably going to be a significant injury. Now, I'm not saying you ban the play for that. It's football. You can have a significant injury on every play. I fully understand that. I said on my Forverts channel, I'm kind of indifferent on the rule. I would probably vote to keep it because it feels a little icky to punish a team who has mastered the play. But there are arguments for both sides, and just because there wasn't an injury last year doesn't mean that A, indirectly it didn't lead to an injury, and B, that there won't be in the future. That teams and medical doctors have pointed to potential spinal compression issues. These defensive linemen get rolled up on. Like you're telling me at some point someone's leg isn't going to get stuck and get rolled. Like you're talking about tons of mass and just guys diving at each other, basically. Or how about the teams when they're trying to dive over the center on the snap count? Like, that could lead to something down the road. So, like, I do think we have to be fair and be like, look, could it be a little soft if the play gets banned? I suppose. But to act like this is just a completely safe play because last year there wasn't an injury, I don't know if that's true either. So, again, I wouldn't vote to ban it. But if you're a team, I understand voting to ban it if you're a team that doesn't run it because, like, it's hard to stop. And if you're not a team that uses it, I'd probably vote against it too. So that's kind of my stance. I know Bears Twitter is like, this is soft that they did this. I'm indifferent. I don't have a strong opinion. I like to give strong opinions, but I'm not going to force one if I don't have one. I think this is a case where there's arguments on both sides, and I think that's why the vote is 16-16 right now, because I do think there is compelling arguments to make on both sides. Okay, so I'll ask you again. I asked off the top, and now after I gave my spiel, go ahead and let us know again. Should the tush push be banned? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'd probably say no, like I said, but if it happened at one point, I'm not going to shed tears either. Like all these people, football's dead, I'm not going to watch. Yes, you are. The audience goes up every single year. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We will be back with another episode later this afternoon, so hit that sub button, turn on the notifications, and bear down.